Hi guys, the sun is out and I'm here to answer some more of your comic making questions. Now, Tatiana from Twitter, she has asked me my take on establishing a working routine. Also, how do you solve plot problems and what inspires you for your writing? Well, Tatiana, thank you so much for the support and thank you so much for the questions. Let's answer them one by one. With regards to a routine, you have to be disciplined, especially when you're first starting out. You have to carve out time in your day to sit there and write or draw or whatever it is you want to do. Me personally, when I first started, writing comics, I would get up super early before work. I would go to a food court in a shopping centre before, I had to go to the office, and I'd sit there for an hour and I'd have a coffee and I would write. That's what I personally did. Now it's a bit harder because I've got a young child, I've got a wife, I've got a full-time job. I've got a YouTube channel as well as making comics as well. Just done around a Kickstarter and everything like that. So it's harder and harder to find time, but it is possible. And I've said this many times on the channel, and I know people hate me for saying it. You have to find that time. So like if you're a gamer and you're spending 2 hours a day playing games, play for an hour. If you're spending 2 hours a day watching TV and watching binge watching the latest series on Netflix, watch it for an hour and have that hour after you've done your hour of creative work, whether it be your writing, your art, that kind of thing, and use it as your reward to get yourself disciplined to being able to write wherever you can. Now, I know this is hard, but the more disciplined you become at the start of your comic making journey, the more it will help in the long run. Like right now, I know wherever I am, because of the way I work, if I've got half an hour to spare, whether I'm on a train or anything like that, I know I can get some writing done. So it's finding that time in your routine just to simply just do some writing, whether you're just writing a panel or a page or the whole thing, just try and do some, because the more you chip away at that project, the faster it's going to be completed. So don't go, I don't fancy it. The more disciplined you become and the more effort you put in at the beginning, you'll realize that you don't need to warm up before you start writing. The procrastination goes right out the window because you become laser focused. So that's how I work and that's how I write. So hopefully that answers that question. With regards to avoiding plot holes, I don't tend to have that problem purely because I've been thinking about my story before I even get to the plotting stage and well before I even get to the actual writing stage. So when I sit down to actually write my comics, I'm ready to go. So I've been thinking about these stories for like 6 months, a year before I even go, okay, so I've got from there to there to there to there. So what I would suggest is bullet point as much of your plot as you can, and where there are holes, just try and work out how you could potentially get around those problems, or worst case scenario, even with those plot holes in your story, just start writing, because as you become entwined into that story as you are writing it, the solution may resolve itself because you start to learn more about the characters that you're creating and the situations you're creating. So it just may resolve itself naturally. And worst case scenario, get the story out, because that is the hardest part, because after you've done that, you can actually go back and fix those plot holes and think, actually, do you know what? I need another scene here to make that one make sense. Okay, so what I would suggest is plot as heavily as you can before you get to the writing stage to avoid any plot holes. And if you are stuck, just sit down and write. That's the hardest part, and then go back and fix them. And hopefully they will present themselves. With regards to what inspires my writing, everything. I'm always looking for ideas. I've always got ideas on the boil, whether they're fully fleshed out or it's something that I'm working on in my head. With regards to like the plot question that you asked earlier, I'm always trying to work stories through. I do get a lot of my ideas in the shower, which I know sounds really super creepy, but let me explain. Okay, when you go to the shower, you have a routine. Okay, you don't think about that routine, you just do it subconsciously because you shower every day, hopefully, you smelly lot. But because I'm doing that routine and I'm not thinking about it, my mind kinds to wander, and that's where I kind of get my ideas from. And a great example of that is for the Kickstarter that's just finished for Voodoo Cowboy. And the whole reason why that came to be was because my buddy dared me to write a Western, and for months I was trying to think, how I need to write a Western just to annoy him, need to do it. And then one day I was in the shower and for some reason the term Voodoo Cowboy popped up in my head, and then a week later the script was done. So ideas come at the strangest times. Another idea that I had for a comic that I did was called The Devil in Disguise, and that was inspired by a pregnant woman I saw on the underground. And no, I'm not a creepy human that stares at pregnant women before you say it again, Rob. Basically what happened was I just saw a pregnant woman asleep on the train, had my earphones in, and the Elvis Presley song The Devil in Disguise came on, and for some reason it just got my mind thinking, if I was the devil and I was going to try and come back to Earth, how would I do it? I would need a vessel, like a pregnant woman. And then that was the start of the story, and it adapted and became a superhero story. So I kind of get my ideas from everywhere. So just be inspired by what's around you and try not to focus on, I need an idea, I need an idea, I need an idea. Just let your mind wander and get inspired by what's around you, whether that be TV, film, or the faces on the street. So hopefully that answers your questions. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one to answer more of your questions. Take care. Bye.